Alright guys, your boy Mercenary, and today I have an interesting video on sort of a what if. Well, yeah, it is just a what if video, but this time it's a bit different. I'm sure you all are familiar with my things like what if this Bay was evil, or what if this Bay had an evolution. Now I raise a question: what if a Beyblade has a devolution, a prequel, or whatever, just a worse version? And today I'm going to try that with Death Quetzalcoatl and see what would happen if Death Quetzalcoatl had a pre-evolution, devolution, however you want to call it. So I got some parts here, pretty much making this thing worse, which, I mean, I guess that's what a devolution is, but I still wanted to make it quite strong. So I got some parts here, and we're gonna see how it performs. So obviously the death wheel is very good for defense, and RDF is very good for defense. So I want to keep that defense theme here, but also a bit of solid stamina, because if you didn't know, the death wheel is actually very good for stamina. It's basically, if you can't use duo on bearing drive, you use death on bearing drive. It is very good defensively and has incredibly good stamina. So what wheel had incredibly good stamina and defense from prior to 4D? Well, that's where I brought in the Earth wheel, a very good round wheel, lots of good stamina and defense potential, and I feel like it matches in terms of not name but performance. The way Death performs on a bearing drive reminds me of Earth, just very good defense and stamina. I will be, of course, keeping the the Facebook and the Facebook and the energy ring. I'll be downgrading to the Earth wheel. I mean, I could change the spin track to something else, but I feel like 130, basic enough, good enough, solid, should be good with this combo. Don't need anything excessive. And there are a lot of things that can downgrade from a rubber defense flat. Pretty much any other tip is a downgrade to a rubber defense flat. But rubber defense flat performs most like a rubber semi-flat. So I'm going to be using rubber semi-flat on this combo. This needs to be cleaned. But anyways, this is going to be our fully downgraded Quetzalcoatl to something more Metal Masters, Metal Fusion balance. I'd say probably better in the Metal Masters meta because of the rubber semi-flat. Let me get this put together and we'll see how it goes. There are some other tips I could have used that are like devolutions to rubber defense flat, such as coat sharp, such as a sharp wide defense, but I wanted to restrict this to only parts aside from Quetzalcoatl itself that were available in 4D or Masters. So let me get this put together and let me get these battles ready. So for these battles, I have a couple of different fights from Metal Masters and earlier bays here that should test Quetzalcoatl's new performance. First, we're gonna have it, or well, here's the combo. First of all, Earth Quetzalcoatl, 130 rubber semi-flat. First, it's gonna fight Rock Leone, a pretty okay defense type, more of an attack type than anything, honestly, with the aggressiveness of that rubber ball can sometimes have, and the solid recoil that this wheel has, this rock wheel. Next, we're gonna have it face off against Galaxy Pegasus, a solid-ish attack type. Galaxy could, of course, be better if it was heavier, but should still provide a solid challenge to Death Quetzalcoatl here. Or Earth Quetzalcoatl, gotta get used to that. Next, there's no real rhyme or reason for this. The previous two have been devolutions to other 4D bays. This one is just, I want to have fun with Vulcan Horusius, so I'm going to use Vulcan Horusius here as the third battle. And the last two are both going to be opposite spin battles. Here we have Gravity Destroyer, which I will be using in left spin. Regular combo, just with different colors on top. And Medio El Drago to see how this thing performs. So let's get right in, starting with Rock Leone. So, of course, as my battle rules go, first to 3 points, and base must make contact for a winner to be determined. Ooh, this rubber semi-flat is pretty worn, so it has some solid aggression, which could definitely work against it, especially in this scenario we're seeing here. Rock Leone might definitely have some better stamina thanks to the plastic tip, though we'll see how this performs. This might just be a losing battle here for Death Quetzalcoatl, which will definitely perform better against attack type combos. I don't think this thing is too great, honestly, unless you're against an attack type combo. Something like a defense combo here. I mean, Earth has such good stamina, it might just win anyways. But no, Rock Leone won anyways, so moving on to the next round. Ooh, both of them acting pretty aggressively in this round. As we saw, Earth quickly lost its stamina in comparison to Leone as they both raced around the stadium. Especially since Leone was launched first. Let's see who wins here, though. One of these needs to be tightened a little more. I can hear the rattling of the wheels as they clash. Death wins this one by sleep out, actually. Earth wins this one by sleep out, actually. Not quite what I was expecting, honestly. Moving on to the next round. This one I think I'm going to do best at first to 2 since these rounds take so much longer, considering they're mostly stamina battles. Earth is a very good defensive tip, though it's not great when it's racing around the stadium the way it has been. I think wide defense could have also been a pretty solid tip for this thing, but I don't know. I wanted to keep the rubber in some way, especially since rubber semi-flat is pretty much just the immediate downgrade to rubber defense flat in terms of, as far as rubber tips go, at least. Could have also used rubber sharp or something, would have been better stamina-wise. Looks like Leone did outspin there, so it wins the stamina battle. I think I'm just going to move quickly along into the Galaxy Pegasus battle. Failed the flower launch here, but oh well. I do feel like Tornado Sawing or just any avoidance from an attack type just racing around the stadium can also lead to a downfall from Earth Quetzalcoatl here. Quetzalcoatl isn't necessarily a great stamina energy ring either, so definitely be some issues there, but as you saw, it didn't matter too much. Our flat definitely wouldn't have better stamina. You don't have to worry about that with the regular rubber flat. Maybe opposite direction flats, like left rubber flat on a right spin bay or right rubber on a left spin, but that's not what we have here. Quetzalcoatl eating attacks like breakfast. Running around the stadium really does make this more difficult to be caught by an attack type. Shoot. Pegasus kept its flower for a little bit, but after a couple of hits just lost it again. Unfortunate, but whatever. Also, I did realize that the loose rattling we're hearing is just because the Quetzalcoatl wheel doesn't quite fit the Earth wheel perfectly, leading to it rattling about whenever it gets hit. Anyways, that's the end of Pegasus there, as Quetzalcoatl easily won that. Moving on, no cuts this time, just moving on straight into Vulcan Arusius battle. Definitely launching it first because it's much more, it has much better stamina probably. I can see Quetzalcoatl probably losing this unless it manages to somehow get a good like recoil hit on Quetzalcoatl here. Or Arusius, I mean. Oops. Saying all the wrong stuff today, huh? Vulcan's actually losing a fair bit of stamina, probably due to how heavy recoil is on its wheel. Vulcan is a very good wheel, can be pretty good for attack, but it's just very light, meaning the recoil can definitely work against it. Oh wow, yeah, recoil definitely worked against it there as Quetzalcoatl flung it at the stadium. Surprised to see a knockout like that from Quetzalcoatl. Though the recoil paired with the lightweight on Arusius definitely does hurt it quite a bit, especially against something as tanky and heavy as Earth Quetzalcoatl. This thing like barely budges most of the time. So an immovable wall just slamming into you, not ideal, as we saw. Let's see if Death Quetzalcoatl manages to get the sleep out this time, or if it finally gets outspun. Even though this is a rubber tip, the Earth Wheel just has such good stamina due to all that outward weight, putting a little bit less friction on the tip itself. Very good. Performs incredibly well, though obviously it lost this time. That's why it's able to have such good stamina despite being on a rubber tip, especially if wow, okay. Especially on such an aggressive rubber tip. I was about to just move on right into the left spin matchups, but I realized I forgot my launcher, so now I have my launcher. Now we can do these left spin matchups. Starting with Gravity Destroyer. This is going to be a long battle, but should be an interesting one to see. I love seeing my left spin matchups, or opposite spin I mean. See who wins the LAD match here. I feel like Gravity Destroyer could easily get a knockout or knock this out as well. Like that. Even though the Earth Wheel is not good at recoil, it being aggressive and facing some recoil defense types could definitely get the other defense types knocked out. Okay, without a knockout, this is... oh. Yep. With the wide defense tip not being the best for defense and Gravity having a pretty high recoil wheel like this, it does lead to it losing most battles. It's much more similar to being an attack type, if anything. Let's see if he can nullify some of these hits this time. And these two can have a battle of equalization. No, obviously that's much more boring compared to the sleep outs. It's just, you know, or the knockouts, I mean, not sleep outs. Sleep outs are much more boring. I'm regretting not having a knockout, even though that's not even in my control, but I just wish there was now, sitting through another stamina match. Wide defense definitely has better LAD, but it looks like this guy is just tipping over anyways here. Let's see who wins the battle. The spin-stealing battle that is taking forever, as both of these are pretty solid base in terms of stamina. Well, actually, not really Gravity Destroyer, but thanks to its tip, it has some LAD to it. Gravity Destroyer wins a round for once. Moving on to the last match. Hopefully, if Quetzalcoatl just wins. Ooh, if Quetzalcoatl hit on that one swing around, it would have probably gotten a good knockout on Gravity, given Gravity's horrible recoil resistance. Alright, finally that battle ended and Gravity Destroyer has won again. Hopefully this battle just won't take so long this time. There we go, finally a winner has been decided because Earth Quetzalcoatl actually managed to outspin slightly longer there. Meaning that's the end of that painfully long battle. Why did the first two end in quick knockouts and not those last couple? Oh my god, that was so painful to sit through. I'm sorry to put you through that, but luckily you don't have to deal with that because I sped it up in post. Moving on to the final battle. Alright, so for this last battle, of course, we're going to be facing Medio El Drago, a left spin attack type. Let's see how Quetzalcoatl fares against this. I feel like Medio is probably just going to win, personally. But let's see how it goes as the battles start. Fuck. Relaunching. Excuse my language. Or the recoil can just kill Medio immediately. 1-0 for Quetzalcoatl. Medio getting a nice knockout there, sort of scaring, nudging Quetzalcoatl towards the exit of the stadium as that battle went on. That was an interesting one. So, interesting movement from El Drago. Straight into, of course, him just zooming around the stadium like a jet. I feel like in terms of stamina, Medio should probably win with the rubber being able to equalize the spin. Not going to be able to do that actually if Quetzalcoatl is evading like this, but they should make some contact soon. Medio could easily spin steel to win. Never mind, as soon as they got enough contact to potentially spin steel, he lost, meaning this is a 2-1 so far. Let's try the good old hand spin. Medio should be able to win the hand spin purely off of it having a plastic tip, maybe? Doesn't always work like that actually. Rubber defense flat is insane, but that's also a different story when it comes to equalization. Actually does not win, meaning Quetzalcoatl does win. However, I will do one more battle, just fully launched, just for fun. It looks like Quetzalcoatl won that one, meaning it is the clear winner this time. Thank you guys for watching. That's going to be it for this video. Performed actually very well, being despite being a devolution. But surprised me in a couple ways. Definitely didn't expect it to beat Medio. Even though that was sped up, you might have heard some noise in the background. That's because the door opened and stuff. But yeah, that's about it for this video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Remember, join Exotics' server, subscribe, all of that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next video.